All right. So I wanted to go over what is going on in IT-272. So in case you are taking this course, I want to make sure that you have all of the information that you're going to need. So I want to clarify those things for you. If this is the first time that you're ever running into one of my videos, my name is Giovanni. I am a junior at Southern New Hampshire University Online, and my major is in information technology, specifically focusing on cybersecurity. So I am in the second week of IT-272. My instructor is Professor Robin, and Professor Bustola is very active in the discussion post. I will cover module 1 since you are here and I wanted to understand what's going on. So module 1, you do not have a great deal of things that you need to focus on primarily. 2 of them is going to be just kind of no-brainers. One of them obviously is your discussion post. This is your first week in class, so you're going to be going through and giving your viewpoint on virtualized environments. So on the virtualized environments, you're going to have to pick one. So you're going to be team this or team that, whichever one you're going to pick. Primarily focusing, in my opinion, your quiz, okay, is going to be, I believe it is 5 questions. Those are not really that difficult. It's just a quick quiz, just being honest. It's going to go over what you read through. I work in virtual environments already, so a lot of it was fairly easy for me. If, for example, you are coming over from, like, let's say, psychology or something to that nature, and you simply don't understand it, this is fairly easy for you to do. Just read through the resource information that they give here, and once you do that, you'll be fine. The second portion, or I should say this 1.3 activity, explore virtual desktop infrastructure. The whole point of this is for you to get in and really to understand. You're going to have to get through. So if you hit this grading and rubric, right, it will take you. This step-by-step guide literally walks you through all of the stuff to get into a student lab. What this doesn't tell you is you're going to go here, and when you go here, it's going to bring you to this. This is your sign-in information, and it should look like this. So when you get ready to go in, your stuff is going to give you kind of this error. What they're trying to get you to do is to go into this. This is your lab. And a large part of this, you won't even understand until you look into a comment that they make. And you're going to be working in this AWS Academy Learners Lab. The first time that I did it, I got the error that you guys just saw. The second time I went back to go and do it, it worked just fine. So the whole point is to get to, and I will put this URL on the screen so you guys can get to it. It's a fairly easy, maybe yours might be slightly different depending on the coursework, but this is where you're going to be going. Once you're done with that module, this will be a quick week for you. Okay, so don't really sweat this. When you get ready to get into module 2, you do have your regular module 2, like reading in the beginning of the week. And typically the way that I break my content down to let you guys know is breaking it down by days of the week. My content is specifically geared towards working adults that are working 30 to 40 hours a week, and they're looking for advantages of how they can go through the classwork. So I know that those don't go together, but I have been doing it for 3 years now. And when I say that, I mean, I look at the work that I have to do, I break it down, and then I usually do my work in very focused times. So very focused blocks of time. Me sitting down for 4 hours and doing something like that just doesn't work for me. But me sitting down and doing 2 30-minute sessions to break down an hour works for me. Maybe that may work for you as well. Now, the discussion for this, I can give you a pure response to that because my instructor came back and started asking perplexing questions. So this is my post. As you guys know, my posts are always going to be colorful and not very boring to go through. You are not required to do this. But when I did this, there's a lot of effort in this one. Like, this is not a response. This tells me you didn't want to read everything. And so you just came here just to say, hey, I went and looked at another student. Like that, this does not contribute to the discussion. So please do not be this person. Okay. When you get ready to do a response, this is what Professor Robin came back and asked very perplexing questions. I gave him very detailed answers. Okay. Doing the best that I can in that. So on your discussion for module 2, that will get you through quite quickly. Now, let's talk about what you're going to do as far as your quiz. Your quiz is not going to be difficult for you to get through. Now, I want to make sure that this is not disturbing you guys and my household stuff, what's going on there. Let's talk about this on the actual activity, because this activity was a bit deep for me, and so it may be a bit deep for you. Now, this rubric for this week is lengthy. So I'll give you a guided tour of this, shall we? So when you're going to this, like AWS Academy, the information I just showed you. So AWS Academy is this. Once you go here, you're going to go to modules. Once you go to module, now the instructions say to go to Learner's Lab. Well, you might be here and go, which Learner's Lab? Because this says Learner's Lab, this says Learner's Lab, which one? So I was there too. I know what that feels like. So your system's going to go and it's going to look like this. And what you're going to be doing is waiting for this AWS to go. So you're going to hit Start Lab, which if you're reading through the instructions here, it's going to tell you to hit Start Lab. And when you hit Start Lab, this is going to turn from AWS with a red, like a red dot next to it. So if I were to hit the Start Lab now, this is going to turn yellow. And then once it turns yellow, it's this little spinny portion is going to keep going. And then eventually it's going to go from yellow to green. And when that goes to green, then you can go in and do your module. And I couldn't figure out, like, well, what was I doing wrong? So now once you are here and you kind of start the lab, now you're trying to figure out, like, okay, well, where do I go from here? So you go here, you click on AWS. Once you click on AWS, it's going to bring you in this whole console. So once you're in this console, you're going to be working. Now, if you've dealt with AWS, this is so you're in a protected area. However, what you're going to be doing is following the instructions in the rubric. And let me close this other one down so we're not getting confused. But you're going to go through here and you're going to be typing in services. So part of the reason why I wanted to make this video in the first place is because as I was going through this, initially when I looked here, I clicked on this, which you would do, and you would come to this. This is not what you need to be looking for. Even though you're going to click, oh my goodness, it's been a couple of weeks since I did this, and I don't remember what my password is. What you're going to need to do is make sure that you go to like your mail, because you would have been sent an email in your actual like SNHU email. You would be sent an email, and that email is going to have your information for AWS Academy. So when you have it, like for me, I knew that I had all of my stuff for AWS. And so I ended up having a screen of that information. I know I was sent that information, and I can just kind of show you guys. I know that I had this email, and this email came and it had a link to it. So that's what you'll need to utilize, is that link. And that's the information that I'm putting on the screen that tells you specifically how to get to AWS, the actual Learner's Lab. So once you get done with that, it's going to walk you through all the steps of how to get through this. And you're going to get through, you're going to go to these different places. I am definitely not going to show you all of that work, but I wanted to show you this because up until that point, I was kind of like, I don't understand what I need to do. The final thing I'm going to show you is the number of screenshots that I needed to produce. And just so you know, if you are doing this content, you will need to go through and do a lot of this yourself. So even if you're like, hey, I'm going to pause the screen and I'm just going to copy the stuff, people will be able to see it. And they'll know that it's not yours. I took screenshots as I was going through everything. So it's just one of those things where if you do not take screenshots and he comes back and he asks you something, you'll have your screenshots to let you know. And just so you know, in case anybody's looking, yes, I am on my desktop. I am not on my iPad. That's students asking about iPads for class and that type of thing. So once you get done, for me, I ended my lab because AWS will charge you for just about anything that you leave on. So I always make sure I turn off any instance or anything that I'm doing. When I did that, I just hit the end lab portion. That's it. You're done. So that is all that you have for Module 2 for IT-272. I decided to get this out the way. I do have another video coming out for the last class that I took and my reflections on that. That's a longer video. I'm trying to get these kind of micro videos out to you guys quickly so that you get the information. So if you are in IT-272, which is cross-platform technologies, and you are in your week 1, week 2, hopefully this was useful for you. If you got any type of value out of it, I only ask that you hit the like button. If it is something that's valuable to you, and maybe my other courses or something that have been valuable to you, consider subscribing. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time.